All right, so back with another first look video in the day. We're looking at the historical Blyskawica 44 version. So we're gonna be looking over this ship. I know a lot of people, especially the Polish, are very excited about this ship entering the game. I've had a lot of people asking me if there's a 44 ship currently in testing, and as of patch 14.2 on the public patch test server, it is currently in testing. Now, we cannot, of course, show gameplay of the ship, but we are able to show the stats, of course, the ship itself, and we do have to say that the stats we are going to be showing are not finalized. The ship is currently in testing, so any of the information we're showing you today is, of course, subject to change. So let's hop up right into it. So armor, pretty much is going to be exactly the same as the original ship and not the 44 version, so nothing much has changed there. 19 millimeter hull armor with a 13 millimeter superstructure. This ship has 22,400 HP when you have it built into it. Artillery guns are going to be 8 102 millimeter guns with a 4-second reload and a 10.3 kilometer range. Torpedoes, you get 6 with a reload of 100 seconds and a 10-kilometer range as well. Now, what makes this ship really different than compared to the original in WoWs is the fact that this ship has a heal, a emergency engine power engine boost, and it also has hydro. This is one, I think this is like the second Pan European destroyer to have hydro, isn't it? The first was the Friesland. I think this is the second. And this has a 5-kilometer hydro, which for tier 8 is extremely strong. That is extremely strong for a tier 8 destroyer. And it also has a 3.5-kilometer torpedo, which is normal for hydro. But the fact that this thing has a hydro, like a 5-kilometer hydro, an engine boost, and a heal is pretty nice for a 44 version. Going off of the stats. It also has a nice reload for the main guns as well, but this is definitely more of an open water or a destroyer fighting destroyer. With that heal, engine boost, and the hydro, it's all a combination for like a DD Hunter. Its concealment is also 5.8, so that's a really good concealment for tier 8 as well. So pretty impressed with the ship's stats. Maneuverability-wise, 41 knot top speed with the flag and with the engine boost, so 25%, you get up to over 50 knots. That is extremely fast for a tier 8 destroyer. 50 something knots, that's really quick, SAT.
It's just as fast as the Russian destroyers. That being said, they can only achieve it through the speed boost, but that's still pretty dang fast.
Yep. So for the anti-air, yeah, unfortunately, it does have 5.8 kilometers, but it looks average for the anti-air. Yeah, it's average.
And the thing is, average in destroyers is basically non-existent.
Yeah.
You have to have exceptional AA, something like Holland or in this case Oland, but basically just ignore it.
Yeah. So for depth charges, 32 with 2 charges. Is that a record for most depth charges, SAT?
There's a few destroyers with 18.
32? Where are they? Where are these guys? Oh, wait, I see it.
Is it dropping 16? Is it dropping 16 or is it 32?
No, 32 per charge.
I wonder if that's actually a bug.
That has to be a bug. If it was actually 32, that's insane.
Well, that would be great, but yes, I think the highest is actually about 20. It's either 18 or 20.
It has a 40-second reload time with the 32s.
20.
No. It has 20 is the highest? Okay.
20 is the highest. Yamagiri can drop 20 depth charges in one charge. Błyskawica dropping 32 is probably a bug.
I'm looking at how many racks there are. So there is. Okay, wait a minute. It could be. It could be, bro. I'm counting. Oh, I think there is. Because if you look at the ship, you can literally see all of the depth charges. You can see all of them. So there's like 2 racks of like 5. 2 racks of 5 on each side, so that's 20. And then at the back, there's 2 racks of 6, and that's 32. Now, this is a historical ship, so they could be using the actual number of depth charges the ship had historically, and that's why it has so many.
It seems a little bit crazy because literally not much is mentioned. It does say in a dev blog it drops 32 depth charges per attack, but considering that the next highest is 20, I wonder if it was actually intended.
Well, if they said in the dev blog 32, it's probably a historical fact it dropped that many, and that's probably why it's a thing. Now, if it goes into the game with 32, we will see, but that is going to be the record for the most depth charges dropped by anything. That is the highest. That will be the new record holder. By 12, too. That's a lot.
That being said, I don't expect it to actually get into live. I'm pretty sure someone at Wargame is going to be like, wait a minute, why is this guy constantly depth charging an entire game? Okay, we've just about.
Well, also, the thing is, too, if it keeps even half of that many depth charges, 16, the ship is extremely quick, right? Great maneuverability for a tier 8 DD. It has a hydro. So instead of this thing being like a DD hunter, it could be a submarine hunter. Because because you would build RPF, and whenever a submarine was on the surface or at periscope, you could go and hunt it down. And you're really quick. And guess what's slow at tier 8, tier 6 subs are extremely slow. Okay, they're not extremely. Tier 6 subs are extremely slow. Tier 8 subs are okay. But
they're slow. They're still slow underwater.
Yeah, exactly. They're slow underwater. And this thing could easily outrun them and catch up to them. Even the tier 10 subs would have problems with this thing, with how fast it goes. That's extremely quick.
Only in a burst, though.
Yeah.
Because if 4501's underwater running away at 40 knots, you're not going to catch him, period.
Yeah. But that is pretty exciting, though, to see something with that many depth charges. It adds a possibility of a potential submarine hunter. So it kind of adds like a real fun appeal to it. Because we were talking about the great concealment for the tier. Maneuverability, really good for a tier 8. Anti-air, and it's DD anti-air. Depth charges are definitely what takes the cake. And again, all these stats that we were showing are subject to change. Torpedoes, they don't do the most damage. They have 10,700, which is I think that's like low for a tier 8, not the highest. 76 knot speed, that's about average. That's pretty good for speed. 76 knots. You can build into it too.
It's pretty dang good.
Yeah. 10 kilometer torpedoes though is kind of rough due to how many 12 kilometer radars are at tier 8, 9, and 10. So it's kind of rough with that.
It's actually very good for the tier. Kagero, for example, only has 10 kilometers.
Oh, okay. The main battery guns, 4 seconds with 10.3 kilometer range. And oh yeah, I forgot to mention this ship only has AP. I forgot to mention at the start.
It's a pretty big change too. Yeah,
we talked about everything except for the fact that the ship only has AP. I forgot to mention it earlier on. Nice.
So on top of being AP only, you also are limited to 10.3 kilometers. That's a pretty drastic range decrease compared to the original tier 7 Błyskawica.
Yeah, because wasn't that ship more of like a smoke farmer? The original one?
Yes. Yep, it was a gunboat. And it did pretty well at long-range farming. It had like 12 kilometer, about 11 or 12, I think, base.
Yeah.
I have to double check here.
Hmm.
It had 12 base.
12 base. Yeah, that's pretty impressive for a tier 8 destroyer to farm. Yeah, that's amazing.
Well, no. The original Tier 7 Błyskawica has 12 kilometer base. But this one, the 44 variant, has only 10.3,
No, no, no,
which is
no.
a...
I mean, the original one having 12 kilometers is great for farming. This
Yep.
is closer range, so their design is more like, hey, you're not meant to farm. You're meant to fight. It's like the build is meant to fight destroyers. Does it show on Ship Builder if this ship has special AP characteristics, or have they said anything about
I'll double check. It has improved ricochet angles and a low arming threshold on her dev block description.
So low. So that means low fuse time,
Mm-hmm.
which means, and it has improved ricochet angles, which means this could be a really strong destroyer hunter. Could be.
It seems geared for that because you have 5.8 concealment, you have AP.
Yep.
I assume your DPM is going to be quite good. Let me see. Actually, I can calculate right
Well,
now
the maximum damage is 2,000. And the reload is 4 seconds when you have it built into it.
180k AP, which is not bad.
Mm-hmm. So overall, this ship, as the stats are currently are, it feels like a strong open water destroyer hunter slash sub hunter, or like more of like a cap controller kind of ship.
Hold on. I'm gonna change that. So the DPM is actually 240,000 to AP DPM. That's pretty good.
That's really good. Yeah. So we'll have to see how the ship comes out when it's out of testing. Of course, we're all just doing theoreticals right now on what we think the gameplay is going to be. Of course, the most shocking thing is the 32 depth charges, which I would love for them to actually implement. That'd be so much fun to do. It's like, oh, they just see like, oh, it's a tier 8 destroyer. He's not going to have that many depth charges. And it just keeps laying and laying and laying, and it doesn't stop. It just keeps laying forever. That's going to be hilarious.
I think with the right build, actually, if you with the adrenaline rush and if you get in low enough health, you should be able to constantly depth charge people. Or
You could also get extra charges of depth charges too, if you really want to meme.
It only increases the amount of charge you get, not the reload time, which is kind of sad.
Yeah.
But yes, you can do that for memes.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, though, if you guys have any questions or concerns, let us know what you think of the first look of the ship. It definitely looks like, off of the stats and the memes of the depth charges, to be a fun upcoming ship for the Polish. And for anybody else that's a historian enjoyer. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and see you all in the next video.